Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're here with us today because, honestly, we're tackling something huge. It's one of those absolutely critical yet kind of wildly overlooked challenges that executives and project leaders run into all over the world. We're talking about how to make sure that massive investments actually translate into real, tangible value. I mean, think about it for a second. How many times have you seen a massive initiative roll out, millions of dollars spent, endless late nights from the project team, only for everyone to look around a year later and go, wait, what do we actually get out of that, right? The executives who sign those checks, they're sweating over budgets, desperately looking for that promised ROI, and all they're holding is a completed checklist. Well, today, we're going to fix that disconnect. We're diving into benefits realization. It's the process that makes sure your hard work doesn't just end with finished tasks and exhausted teams, but actually delivers measurable business victories that justify all that time and money. Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material literally calls benefits realization the heartbeat of program management. And I've got to say, I absolutely love this metaphor. It hits the nail on the head. If you think of your project as this complex living organism, right? You build the bones with a solid project charter, you map out the nervous system with all your meticulous communication plans and timelines, you get all the structural pieces in place, strictly on time, perfectly under budget. The thing looks complete. But without benefits realization, there's absolutely no pulse. The project essentially just flatlines on the operating table. Without that heartbeat actively pumping value throughout the whole organization, you're just left with this empty shell of an investment. It might look super impressive on paper, but it isn't actually doing a single thing to keep the business alive and thriving. So what exactly are we talking about here? Let's formalize it a bit. Benefits realization is the practice of ensuring that investments translate into measurable outcomes. Now, focus on those two keywords there, investments and measurable outcomes. This is exactly what your executives are demanding when they ask for proof of value, especially now in today's tight economic climate where every single dollar is heavily scrutinized. It's not just about crossing some arbitrary finish line. It's about connecting the money spent directly to tangible, verifiable results that actually move the needle for the company. Because let's be real, if the outcome isn't measurable, it's basically just a wish. And executives don't fund wishes, do they? They find expected returns. So if you're claiming a project is going to increase revenue, well, by exactly how much? If it's going to save time, how many hours a week are we talking? That right there, that's the whole essence of benefits realization. All right, let's move right into section 1, outputs versus outcomes. To truly grasp this concept, we have to uncover a fundamental misunderstanding we see all over the industry. It's the vital difference between just finishing a task and actually achieving a business goal. Take the classic example of delivering a new HR system. That delivery, that's an output. It's a thing you built, a software deployment. And hey, we usually celebrate this moment, right? We cut the ribbon, pop the champagne, the system is live. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the hard truth it reveals. Delivering that system is not the actual win. The true win is the outcome, which should be improved employee engagement. Imagine a company dropping $10 million and 2 years into perfectly launching a state-of-the-art HR platform. The output was a resounding success. But what if the interface is so confusing that employees absolutely hate using it and morale just plummets? Because employee engagement actually dropped, the outcome itself was a total failure. The realized benefit has to be the engaged employee, not just the mere existence of the new software. Moving along to section 2, the realization plan framework. So how do we actually shift our focus from just building stuff to capturing those desired outcomes? Well, it takes a practical shift, bringing us to the actual tools practitioners use to guarantee success, the benefits realization plan. This framework breaks down into 3 very distinct, non-negotiable steps. Step 1, identify the benefits right at the start. You have to know the exact measurable metric you're aiming for before you spend a single dime. That means writing down clear baselines and target goals. Step 2, track progress. You need live dashboards and constant metrics to see if you're actually inching toward that goal while the work is happening. And step 3, sustain beyond project closure. So the crucial point is that the work absolutely does not stop when the project is delivered. Sustaining value means ongoing training, continuous audits, regular check-ins. Delivery, that's really just the beginning of the realization. Which brings us to section 3, why some programs fail. But what happens when organizations ignore that crucial point? When that heartbeat just stops? Let's look at the timeline of some truly expensive failures to understand the stakes here. Imagine your typical project. Phase 1 is inception. Everyone's hyped, budgets are approved, energy is high. Phase 2 is delivery. The output is finally handed over to the business. But then we hit phase 3, beyond closure. Guys, this phase is the critical danger zone. Psychologically, this is right where the project team usually packs up, exhausted but relieved, and leadership immediately pivots to the next shiny new initiative. All that urgency just vanishes. But this phase stretches out for years, and it is the exact window where the benefits are actually supposed to materialize and pay off your investment. If nobody is assigned to watch that timeline and manage adoption during phase 3, the value just slips right through your fingers. Our source material highlights some massive case studies of failure that all trace back to this exact oversight. Programs fail primarily because benefits were not defined up front, or they just weren't continuously monitored after the delivery phase. There's this one crazy case detailed in the material about a multinational retail corporation. They poured over $30 million into a massive supply chain transformation program. The software delivered exactly on time. But leadership completely failed to set up clear dashboards to monitor inventory turnover after launch, and nobody was held accountable for those new efficiency metrics. Because the frontline workers didn't really get the new process, and literally no one was watching the expected benefits, employees just went right back to their old inefficient habits. That entire $30 million investment was completely wasted. Without rigorous post-launch monitoring, failure isn't just a possibility, it's practically guaranteed. And finally, Section 4, Sustaining the Value. We obviously want to avoid those multi-million-dollar disasters at all costs. So how do we keep the project's heartbeat strong over the long haul? And this brilliantly illustrates the 3 essential pillars you need to demonstrate ongoing success to your executives. First up, continuous measurement. You've got to keep checking the pulse, run regular reports to make sure your metrics are still hitting those targets years after launch. Second, stakeholder communication. You have to actively keep telling the story of the value you're creating. Send out those quarterly updates, remind the organization why they made the investment in the first place, and show off the ongoing positive results. And third, alignment with organizational strategy. The benefits you're realizing have to actively support the company's broader current goals. If the company pivots its strategy drastically, but your project is still chasing old targets, that value is just an illusion. You've got to adapt your benefits to match the new reality. I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. Take a quick second to look at the initiatives you're working on right now, today. Are you just crossing tasks off a checklist and delivering outputs? Or are you actively keeping that heartbeat of value alive and realizing true, measurable benefits? Honestly, the answer to that question is the difference between a project that merely finishes and a project that completely transforms an organization. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really challenge you to start focusing on outcomes today. Catch you next time.